You know what time it is. If you don't, now you will. Hello and welcome to A Pod with CAHN, the pod in which we discuss all things related to the health within the African and Caribbean community.
And just a few housekeeping rules before we go into today's conversation. So if you're on socials, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at CAHN_UK. And you can also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube when you search the Caribbean and African Health Network.
And for those of you that are on LinkedIn, you can also find us on there by searching CAHN.UK. Join the conversation using the hashtag CAHNTalk. My name is Sam. My co-hosts today are
Shekinnah
and Diana.
Wonderful. It's good to see and hear you, ladies. It's been a while, so you've been missed. Today in today's episodes, we'll be talking about all things celebrating women, as it's Women's Month. March is a very significant month for most people, so feel free to take part in the conversation. We want to know like the special things that you think about women and how you celebrate the women around you and how you've been celebrating this whole month. So yeah, feel free to use the hashtag CAHNTalk to talk to us. Well, enough about the housekeeping. We'll just do a little quick check-in because it's been a while. We want to hear how you've been too, so definitely let us know how you've been. And I'm just going to go straight in and ask Dr. Diana and Shekinnah. Let's start with Dr. Diana. How have you been since we've last, had a catch-up?
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Shekinnah. Lovely to see you both, and hello to everybody. I've been great, actually. I've been feeling really good. First of all, you'd probably be bored of hearing this. First of all, because it's getting brighter. It's getting lighter.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love it when the darkness goes away. And, we've got these longer days and brighter days. So I'm feeling really upbeat. I'm feeling very excited. But also because the year seems to be progressing very quickly, but also quite well. So I'm feeling very positive, and certainly with March being, a special month for women, I'm just sort of basking in the whole attention that women get in this month. What about you, Shekinnah?
Yeah, I really feel the same, like positive. I feel like at the start of the year, it was kind of like getting into the swing of things, like, oh, new year, expectations, like goals and aims that you want to achieve in the year. So yeah, it's like that pressure of entering a new year, but like now we're in March, I'm like, okay, I'm like getting in the flow with how the year's going, with the uni, with work. So it's been good. March especially has been amazing. Yeah, so far.
That's very lovely to hear that both of you are having a good year and having a good March. So yeah, I think, to be honest, I feel like this is one of the first times in my life that I've actively been aware that March is Women's Month, and I've been a month that is dedicated to celebrating women. I know that might sound very naive, but apart from Mother's Day that we all know it's in March most of the time, yeah, it didn't really occur to me till this month came around. And yeah, just as Dr. Diana said, the year is progressing quite quickly, and it's quite refreshing because we're feeling productive, we're achieving the little goals that we set for last year, and we are making progress, and that's what you really want to hear. So just quickly, on the 8th of March was International Women's Day. I want to know how you spent your International Women's Day, Dr. Diana.
So thanks. But before that, Sam, you must tell us how you've been. Come on, tell us.
Well, I've been pretty good, to be honest. As Shekinnah says, it's been ups and downs. But yeah, I think I'm now settling into the fact that the new year is here, and I'm trying to achieve the goals that I set for myself late last year. So I would say I've been pretty good, quite positive. I'm feeling healthier than I've ever felt, which is strange to say out loud, but I'm quite appreciative of that.
Good, that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad it's actually getting brighter as well. Because yeah, that darkness time I feel like it was a lot darker than it's ever been. So to be honest, and the freak snow that happened a couple days ago, that was insane. That was weird. It felt like they turned on the weather machine, and all the snow came out of nowhere. But yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Great. No, thanks. So International Women's Day, I was at work that day, so it was pretty much a normal day in terms of work. But in terms of other things, I made a conscious effort to send some positive messages to the women in my life, women who I knew, just groups, just to really encourage people and to just give them a thumbs up for all the great work they're doing, and just drop a line to say you're doing great, keep going, we appreciate you, you're wonderful, and just really celebrate what women do. The following day, though, I had a program I was invited to have a talk about minimizing inequality, but also promoting innovation and sustainability, and encouraging women into the area of technology. So I think I ended up doing stuff the following day rather than on the day. But really on that day, it was just a reflective moment to just appreciate how much women do, what women are going through all around the world, and just stopping to take that moment to just say, thank you to all women. You're doing great. You're doing wonderful, and keep going. I guess yours was great as well. Shekinnah, tell us what you were up to on that day.
Yeah, something similar to you, because like that empowering sense of just celebrating women and acknowledging them for all that they've done. Yeah, that was pretty much the theme of the day. So I was at CAHN's International Women's Day event, and that was great. I think my favorite part of the event was definitely the lived experience. So our theme was menopause. So menopause in Black women, like what they experience. So to get women who've actually been through things, and they're just in a room full of other women who are of similar age to them, and either going through what they've been through with menopause or they're about to go through. So it was just good to gain that insight as a young person, because I'm not really thinking about menopause right now. But to see like older Black women be in a room and be open about it and just talk about their experience, I feel like it's so empowering. And we also had like medical speakers that came on to give like the medical side of things, like how the body functions during menopause and stuff. So it was an interesting and insightful day, I'd say International Women's Day was. And I feel like I could have done more in terms of messaging women, because I feel like hearing you say that, I'm like, that is so sweet. I need to tap into that and do that. But yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day. Yeah. What about you, Sam? How did you go about celebrating the women in your life, if you did?
I didn't send messages. I apologize. Well, maybe actually I sent about 2 messages, but nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. I think I put it in the family group chat, and to my sisters and my mom, they appreciated the message.
That's sweet.
But yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think, as she kind of said, like it's interesting to see that a lot of women came out for the event, for our IWD, celebrating women, celebrating Black women, especially during menopause. And as a man, that's something I will never go through, and like learning about it kind of empowered me to, whenever I hear of a woman going through menopause, have that a bit more courtesy and a bit more understanding to what they're going through. Like one of the doctors talked about like hot flashes and cold sweats and like a memory fog and all those things. And honestly, I didn't think those things, kind of existed during a middle-aged person's life, because I guess within the ages of 35 to 50, you're still in the middle of your life. You might be old, quote unquote, but I don't think so. You still got a long way to go. So again, learning about those things is quite empowering, not just for the women there, but also for the men. I think from the lived experience that was referenced on the day, they talked about how it's important that the men at workplaces understand as well what's going on during that time of the month for the women, which is very, very true, because women make half the workforce out there, and they're also just as important. So if there are things that we can do to make other women's lives beneficial and easier while they're at work, I think it's something that we should all be thinking to do. So yeah, it was definitely empowering, definitely insightful. It was quite amazing to see how many people from the community came up. I think one lady said she came all the way from like Lancaster or something like that, or Lancashire, somewhere really far away. And I was quite blown away, because people actually in our community are dedicated to us in the community learning as a whole, learning as a group, and cherishing one another's experience as something that should be passed on to the next generation and the generation before that. So yeah, shout out to all the women out there. It's Women's Month. So yeah, shout out to all of you. And again, it's leading on to Mother's Day this Sunday. Possibly after you guys have heard this, Mother's Day would have gone past. So happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to Dr. Diana in advance. You're welcome. You're welcome. And yeah, so Women's Month is quite an interesting one because there's just a lot that goes into it. So Dr. Diana, as probably the all the women in this conversation, what would be I was trying to word that very delicately, very delicately there. So yeah, what kind of advice would you give young women out there and women that are yet to be mothers and women that are mothers out there? Because I'm sure they would love to hear from someone as wise as yourself.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment. And I think probably the first thing I'll say to them is don't be afraid of your age. Be proud of what age you are. It's such an interesting concept, isn't it? That when we're addressing people, we're so skeptical about what their reaction might be, depending on how we address them. And, you know, so if you say, oh, someone is older, then it comes across as offensive and it's not actually meant to be. You know, it's not a big deal at all, isn't it? And there's this sort of loose saying that age is just a number. And I think if that is sort of taken properly and positively, then it really has a powerful impact to say that it doesn't matter what your age is, you're not limited in what you can achieve or what you can do. And it really shouldn't stop you doing great stuff. I've got ladies in their 80s and 90s and they do yoga and they do Pilates and they go swimming and they go running. And I'm thinking, here I am in my 40s and I'm probably not doing half of these things. But anyway, back to you and what you said, Sam. What would I say to younger women out there, or to sort of, you know, younger ladies? First of all, I would say be proud of yourself, be confident. It's great to be a woman. It's great to be a lady. It's great to be, you know, female. It's just a wonderful thing. I think we have a very special place as women, because we're just special. I think the whole nature of being a woman naturally makes you special. And that's not to say the men are not special. Of course you are. But we just have a very special place anyway in the world, which is acknowledged. On the flip side, there are a lot of people who are exploited. There are a lot of people who might be facing abuse and terrible situations which are totally unacceptable. And, you know, I pray that such people reach out and get the help they need. But to all the younger women out there, be proud of yourself. Be proud that you're a woman. Do not limit yourself. Realize that you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. Absolutely anything and everything is possible. One of the things that we said during the seminar I went to last week was the fact that if you cast your mind back to about 50 or 100 years ago, there were certain roles where there were no women. There were certain areas where you wouldn't even dare to venture as a woman. But today we've got women as CEOs of companies. We've got women as prime ministers. We've got women, you know, as leaders, you know, doctors, lawyers, teachers, mothers, you know, housewives. We've got women bringing up children. We've got women, you know, in the financial institution, in technology, you know, women in aerospace. I can't think of a single area now where there isn't a woman. And so everything is achievable. Everything is possible if we put our mind to it. And let's celebrate each other. Let's share in each other's glory. Let's not try and bring each other down. Let's be there for each other. And let the youth also feel that positivity, and let's encourage them to grow to be decent and responsible women. So that sounds like a whole speech, but that's it.
That's amazing.
What I say to them.
Yeah, it's amazing. 'Cause one thing I like that you said is don't limit yourself. And as it's approaching Mother's Day, it brings me back to a conversation I had with some of my friends in uni. And one of them was saying that when you become a mother, your life is over. And she just had that mindset of once you get kids, that's it. You have to put your dreams down, because she was talking about how her mother like suffered. And I'm like, I feel like there's this mindset maybe among the youth where it's like motherhood is something that you should save for later is like, it's not, it's kind of looked down upon. It's like you're kind of like giving yourself your dreams, hopes away. So what would you say to those young women right now who have that mindset of, when you're a mother, that's it, like it's just going to be kids in the house? Like, what would you say to that?
That's interesting that people are thinking that way. And there probably is some element of what people see and how people interpret a role, isn't it? So I guess for your friend who's thinking that way, she's looking at the amount of sacrifice that mothers have to make, putting themselves behind for others to be put forward, and looking at that and saying, actually, I might be putting my dreams on hold, or I might be delayed in my aims or my goals for life. What I would say is motherhood is brilliant. Motherhood is lovely. It's such an enjoyable time. It's such a wonderful gift. And it doesn't matter whether you have your own kids, because not everyone will ever have the chance to have kids of their own. But some people don't necessarily have kids of their own, but they're wonderful mothers, But just the whole concept of motherhood is a very special gift. And I think that nothing replaces that. So even if you've got to defer things because of your responsibility as a mother, or you've got to put things on hold, it doesn't make you any less successful. I think it's important that we recognize the impact that mothers, make in bringing up children, fathers as well. But just because we're focusing on women this month, just to recognize that it's a huge sacrifice, just bringing up children, raising the family. There's some people who are full-time mothers, full-time housewives, and that's probably the hardest job, ever, because you've just really got to get on with it. So to that young friend or young lady, I would say, look, don't feel your dreams are being put on hold. Embrace it if that's your what you want to do. And it definitely enhances who you are. It makes you a better person. And it also gives you the opportunity to impact someone else's life, be positive in someone else's life, and bring up someone else so that they can also impact the world. There's this saying in Ghana, they say if you bring up a man, you bring up an individual, but if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. So when you sort of impart into a woman, we're not being biased here. So.
No, I'm not feeling any type of way here. I'm enjoying listening to this.
You're actually imparting a whole generation. And the other thing is actually blending motherhood with your career, with your work. It really just makes you a better person. And you said something when you were talking about the fact that, you went to this menopause event and you probably would never do such a thing or haven't done that in the past, but it gave you insight into knowing what women experience. And I think the more we have these conversations, the more we talk about these things, the more we appreciate each other, and we realize that actually people are making sacrifices, but also we can be more accommodating. We can make the workspace more welcoming to women, more accommodating to women's needs, and allow them to also go to the highest point possible in their career.
Yeah, 100%. I think what you said is very, very valid, very, very honest and true. I think also one aspect that comes to mind from what you've said now is the aspect of self-love that helps, push forward someone's goals, push forward someone's own personal beliefs. So I feel like with self-love involved in that process of understanding, someone's place in the world or in the universe, they're able to be a bit more assured of what they're doing is right for themselves. So yeah, I don't feel any kind of way listening to this conversation. It's quite empowering, and it's quite important that it needs to happen. So for me personally, I have two sisters, so I've always known, like, I've always had to learn how to, be around women and understand that aspect, that, what their experience is going to be completely different to mine, no matter how close we are, even blood related. So it's quite lovely to hear the empowering stuff that you said right now. So yeah, everyone that's listening, male or female, take it on board, share it with someone that you know. We always need women around us. We always need women involved with everything that we're doing, because their insight is just as important as other males' insight out there. So yeah, just quickly wanted to understand, Dr. Diana, as we know Mother's Day is approaching, what would be your ideal sort of way of celebrating Mother's Day? Shekinnah, you can tell us yours too. If by that time we might bring this tape back and be like, hey, Shekinnah, remember you said this? Yeah, I want to hear how, like, 'cause I can never experience Mother's Day. I don't even like, I don't know what the expectations are from, your partners or your children. So yeah, so like, please educate us, because we're here to learn.
I think the best thing about Mother's Day is just sharing love and just spending time with the people who matter to you, who really mean a lot to you, and who you, I don't want to say who you appreciate, but if you have the opportunity to, then that will be the best thing. But clearly you cannot be everywhere, at that same time. My ideal way is really just spending time with family and my loved ones. And I've got 3 girls, so they really come up with all these surprises, and with their dad they plan all these secret things which they try not to tell me about, although the girls go, one of them, my littlest, goes, Mummy, we've got a surprise, but it's a surprise, so we're not telling you what it is.
Wow.
And she always blows up the surprise, which her dad has worked really hard to sort of conceal from me the whole time. But that would be my ideal, just really spending time and just being with them, and also acknowledging my mom, my mother-in-law, both who are really wonderful women in my life, and I love them so much, and I appreciate all their sacrifices, and all the other women in my life. It doesn't have to be a mother. So I was laughing when you said, Shekinnah, when you become a mother. But actually, it's not just about people who are actually mothers. Anyone can be a mother figure to somebody, and it might be that you've mentored somebody, you've held someone's hand, you've been that role model for them, you've been that pillar of support for them, and they just take a pause. They just want to take that moment to say, thank you so much for being there. Thank you for being this mother figure for me. Because sometimes it can be very easy to sideline people who are not actually mothers, and they might feel they're out of the loop. But this is really just about celebrating women, because that gift of motherhood is in every woman, and that nurturing ability, that sensitivity, that natural giving ability is in every woman, and it's really just celebrating that. So anything that just puts me in that mode of being around those people, being able to say, look, I really appreciate you, and whatever they do to surprise me, I go with the flow.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love that.
What would be your ideal, Shekinnah? What would you look forward to having?
Yeah.
I know you're going to say I'm not a mother yet, but hopefully you've had a mindset change.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I get to that, I just want to give a shout out to all the daughters out there. Because I feel like we're amazing at gifting. When it comes, because when you talk about your daughters and a surprise, I'm like, yeah, I do that. So yeah, shout out to all the daughters. As for Mother's Day, I don't know. I don't know what I'd expect, but I can say what I do for my mom in terms of, it's usually like getting her a present, just that appreciation. It goes back to that thing of celebrating like her life. And I think you mentioned it before, Dr. Diana, that raising kids is like the hardest job ever. Like it's a really tough job compared to like anything you could do corporately or like creatively. It's a lot of work. So yeah, being a mother is a full-time job, so people can balance that with a career as well. It's amazing to see. So yeah, for my mom, it's just that appreciation. Even if it's just I love you, obviously we do more than that, but like it's just showing that
You better do more than that.
the appreciation. Yeah. And I can tell on my part, I think I need to note down Mother's Day more, because sometimes it comes around and I'm like, oh, it's Mother's Day this week. Yeah. So it's like more so like planning towards it. But now knowing, I'm the same as Sam of this year, I'm definitely more aware that it's Women's Month. Like last year, I think I was just vibing. I was just chilling somewhere. But like this year, I'm more aware, and it's good to see. It's good to celebrate, have that intention of celebrating women this month. So yeah.
Yes. And I'm sure you've got godmothers, you've got aunties, you've got
Yeah.
sisters, you've got friends, you know, grandmothers. Look, grandmothers, oh gosh, they're another group of people who really pour their lives out so much. Because not only have they sort of mothered, they then take on the role of, you know, the grandkids and all the support they give and everything. So no, it's great. Sam, have you got any ideas for Mum?
Mother's Day, not at the moment, because as Shekinnah references, it just comes round and you're like, oh yeah, it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I really love about my mom is like, whenever like I don't know, she's just such an emotional person where like whenever we have a chat and stuff, I feel like more now that I'm older and I'm like getting older with time, like I'm able to like the relationship has developed more. It's like we can talk on a level, and it's like, oh, like I can now understand her on a deeper level and like why she does the things she does, and then how I've learned from that and like how that shapes me, and then we just have conversations.
I love
I
that.
think it was a Saturday. We spoke for like an hour, and yeah, it was just nice and chill. And the things now, it helps me understand like my sisters and my dad as well, like just the whole family as a whole, and it makes me like appreciate everyone on a deeper level, because I guess when you're growing up, you don't really like. Well, personally for me, I didn't really like spend time like dedicated emotional time to like understand people, if that made sense. But now that you're older, you kind of have to make conscious effort for everything that you do in life, from your health,
Yeah.
from the way you talk, from the way you communicate, from the way you love people. So yeah, I think that's something that my mom has taught me, and like something that I always try to rekindle with her every time we get a chance to have a long conversation. So yeah, definitely, I feel like next year, March, I will have more of a conscious effort to celebrate all of it in my life. Because now I feel like now that I've bestowed this information upon myself, I can't not ignore it going forward. So it's quite nice to hear from the two ladies that we're having a chat with at the moment. So yeah, shout out to mothers, to daughters, to grandmothers, to women, and yeah, like I'm sure if you guys haven't celebrated Mother's Day before or celebrated Women's Month, this is your call out to celebrate whoever's listening, and yeah, just enjoy it. I think there was from like the start of the month, the one thing that I learned about this month, not just being Mother's Day, it's also Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. Again, something that I would never experience because I don't have any ovaries, and also the fact that I'm not a woman as well. So it's good to know about these things that other people are experiencing or could experience, and just to have a bit more empathy. Is that the word? Empathy for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit more empathy for people experiencing stuff like that. So yeah, with CAHN, we have our counselors. So if people ever need counseling, they can feel free to contact CAHN to get some counseling. We had a fantastic women's IWD, International Women's Day, on Saturday. Well, not Saturday, on
Wednesday.
Oh, and again, we have been promoting our Catholic Health Hours whenever we get the chance. And this month, we've pretty much focused on women's health as a whole. I think the first Saturday of the month, we learn about fibroids and
Endometriosis.
Yeah, that's the one. See, as you can tell, I'm not a medical.
You're learning. Well done.
Thank you. And yeah, like learning about that was kind of mind blowing, that like people in our community, well, women in our community, like have a higher probability of experiencing those things. And again, it's just like things that you're not aware of, not just because you're a man, but because you're just uneducated. And it's like, wow, like it gives you that extra compassion to, when a woman's on her period and she might be having a fibroid issue, and it's like, wow, like, you can now understand why people not behave the way they are, but experience the things that they experience. And then previous Saturday after the IWD day, we had a very long conversation about menopause again, and how people should be encouraged, or people had more chances to talk about their lived experience at work, and how they are menopause champions, which is again like something I never even thought was a thing, like to have a champion for someone that's going through something in life, and how that encourages other people out there. And I heard there are men in some of these groups at work. We can get quite fantastic if you're a man out there, if you're an individual out there that is helping other people feel the way that they feel in a positive way. Then shout out to you. So yeah, Women's Month is something that we are celebrating heavily here at CAHN, and trying to educate our community. And this upcoming Saturday, I'm not sure when you guys
It's
get a chance to listen to this.
domestic violence and emotional well-being, if you get the chance to
Yes.
listen. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. I'm not sure when you get a chance to listen to this podcast, but it's always going to be available on our YouTube. And yeah, so shout out to all the women, and yeah, God bless you all, and keep doing you, keep learning, keep raising a village, as that's Diana mentioned earlier on. Because no, it's your point is very valid. It's honestly very valid. Like, not sound like I'm making a speech or anything, but when you say when you raise a man, you raise an individual, that's so true. Like, most men are very individualistic. Even if you're looking after people, it's still about themselves. But
Themselves.
girls, women, yeah, women are more of a like collective mindset of, they're not just helping themselves, they're helping the community and they're helping everyone around them. So yeah, shout out to you women too. Just before we dash off, do you guys have any last few things you want to say? I know we haven't spoken in a while, and yeah, you've been missed, but yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. It's been so great to, reconvene and have this all important chat. I just want to give a shout out to anyone out there who's lost their mum or hasn't got a positive lady or woman figure in their life. Heart goes out to you, but I would say that find a woman who you can, relate to as a mentor, as a mother, as a friend, as a companion, to fill that gap, because I think it's important that everyone has a good woman in their life.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Dr. Diana. Really appreciate you pointing out that there are people out there that don't have that aspect, and it's good that they should also go out there and find people that are positive influences in their life. So again, thank you very much for pointing that out to us, Dr. Diana. I do feel bad that I never even thought about those people. So yeah, again, heartwarming words.
Thank you. And just quickly as well, can just encourage people to really try and follow these CAHN health hours. We learn so much on these health hours. We discuss so many topics, and especially topics that are really relevant to the African and the Caribbean community, and to anyone really. You will certainly benefit something from these topics. So do join in, do follow us, do sign up to have regular updates. Thank you. Lovely to see you both.
You too.
See you too. Shekinnah, do you have any closing words before we depart?
Yeah, I definitely say to any woman out there, no matter your role, whether like we said, you're a mother, a sister, a grandmother, a friend to someone, just remember that the sky's your limit, and yeah, don't limit yourself, and you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it. So yeah, that's my takeaway. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, again, just shout out to all the women out there. Enjoy celebrating your month. If you haven't done anything for yourself so far, please do. It's important to always celebrate yourself. So yeah, go out there, celebrate yourself, take yourself out on a meal or on a date, or go to the cinema, whatever you enjoy doing, please do it. And just before we round up for the day, on the 25th of March, 2023, we will be in London. So we're holding a health festival in London, Edmonton, which is in Enfield. The information will be out there on our socials, but please come down. There'll be chance for you to get your health checked. There'll be chances for you to speak to Black clinicians, and it's a family fun day, so there's going to be lots of activities for family or people of all ages. And yeah, so come down, come say hi, and come celebrate. Continue to celebrate Women's Month with us. And on that note, before we go, actually, yeah, guys, whoever's listening, please remember to use the hashtag CAHN Talk. We want to hear how you've been. We want to hear how you celebrate women in your life. Yeah, how you celebrate yourself if you're a woman. And yeah, so use the hashtag CAHN Talk, and we'll catch you on the other side. Bye.
Bye.